Hello everyone, welcome back to Grooving and Giving in Early Retirement. I'm Radhika, thank you for spending your time with me today. This channel is where I talk about living our best life in early retirement, giving back to our communities, and the glue that holds it all together, financial freedom. I left my 23-year-long career in the middle of the pandemic to focus on my passions. And one of my passions is traveling. I am currently at the Krka National Park in Croatia. Look at that amazing scenery.
But in today's video, I want to talk about 4 amazing days in just breathtaking Dubrovnik. There's lots to do in Dubrovnik, by the way. You can walk the old city, you can take the ferry over to Lokrum Islands, you can go up to the fort, you can even do day trips out of Dubrovnik. It all just depends on how much time you have. But walking around the old town is your number one thing to do. We got to Dubrovnik from Kotor, where we were there for 5 days. Check out those videos, by the way. Magnificent place, absolute must visit. We got there with the bus, easy peasy. We stayed at a wonderful place. The place had Tweety birds and the host was fantastic. We booked a walking tour that same day that we got there, and we got to the old town, and there are 8 stops on the walking tour. We try to do our walking tours on the front end so we get familiar with the city. None of them are inside visits, they're all outside visits, and the meeting spot is outside the Pile Gate. And breathtaking views, by the way. So you start already just admiring the views. You walk inside the gate, and there's a monastery on the left-hand side and the water fountain on the right-hand side. Dubrovnik is a well-preserved medieval town, walled city in Europe. So it's really fantastic. It's walkable. There are no cars in the city. Now, if it's summertime, it is hot, but enjoy walking the street, the Stratton Street that's over there, and it is hustle and bustle. The other thing that's really fantastic is the Rector Palace and the Spanza Palace. Lots of palaces, lots of churches, as you might expect. But the architecture is wonderful. It's very Italian style, some of it. The churches are magnificent. You can step into them on a free day. Like I said, nothing on the tour. You'll stop in and go in. So the other place that you absolutely must visit are the Jesuit steps. And outside the Rector's Palace, there's a statue of Marin. I don't want to even pronounce his last name. He's the Shakespeare of Croatia. Now, once the tour is over, one of the things that you're going to look to do is, where do you see the sunset from? My recommendation will be that you go one side of the city one day and another side of the city the next day. The views are breathtaking on both sides, but it's all about the lighting. My husband's a professional photographer, so lighting becomes one of those things that he's constantly thinking about. And that's why I am including the coordinates for you. The light is absolutely golden. And one spot, we are looking to one side of the city, so we're not getting as much on the city, the light, and we're getting it on the other side. These sunsets in the summertime are late, so you might be late to dinner, okay? So just expect that. And the views of the fort are fantastic. Now, day 2, we walked around the city and we explored the town on our own. And one of the fun things that I just loved was the restaurant at the Jesuit steps with the pulley dumbwaiter going up and down. I just thought that was great fun to watch. I don't think you're allowed to sit on the steps anymore. When we went last year in 2025, you were. So walk around the city. We stayed a little bit outside the city, and we had the pleasure of walking into the city all the time. One other thing I'll say is lots of steps in Dubrovnik. The harbor is really fantastic. You can sit there. You can actually see views of the Lokrum Island, actually from almost everywhere around the old town. Now, if you want to take a trip to Lokrum Island, you can. It's pretty inexpensive. At the end of day 2, again, where are we going to see the city from? Where are we going to be for sunset? And I'm including the viewpoint coordinates again for your benefit. And this time we were on the other side of the city, getting some really breathtaking views. We took our time, by the way. We were slow traveling. We were not going to rush. Spending a total of, I want to say, 21 days in Croatia. So we were not in a rush. And for us, it was really important to see the sunsets. And like I said, these are late sunsets. So you might be a little late to dinner, or you might be missing dinner altogether, but it's well worth it. Day 3, more exploring, and we walked on the top part of the city. We were staying kind of high, So we decided to just walk where we were, and then we walked down into the old town to the beach. We did a beach day. So Banje Beach was the beach we went to, but it was a really, really hot day in June. So yes, getting in the water, that spectacularly blue, turquoise blue green water was so wonderful and refreshing. But it was so hot that we couldn't really stay out there that long. We spent a little bit of time there and then decided to move on to do other things like explore the harbor and go on the other side, which is Porporella side of the harbor. I hope I said that correctly. And this is where a lot of the locals were hanging out, and they were fishing, and people were feeding the fishes, and also people were jumping off the cliffs even here. But if you are really interested in seeing people jump off the cliff, which you really should be, because this is quite a fun thing to watch, in addition to watching all the people fishing, the kayaking. By the way, you can also kayak. We saw a lot of kayakers out and about. But the place to see the diving off the cliffs is Buza Bar. It's a small bar and a little crowded, and sometimes only a standing room, sort of no seating available. But this is where you want to see people jumping off the cliffs. Some people, of course, were like, "Ooh, let's just go and do this." Some people were a little bit more nervous. Now, to get up to jump off the cliffs, you've got to climb up on these rocks, and there's a little rope there, but still, we saw people with like their feet all cut up and stuff, but they were still jumping off these cliffs. There are very, very few places to sit and have a drink or lay down. It's not really a beach kind of spot. It's all rocks. But there were some brave souls jumping off the cliffs, and more power to them. Of course, I watched all of that from the comfort of Buza Bar behind the railings with a drink in hand. But some people definitely were like just jumping on in. Some people had like that flat belly flop for that. You were like, oh, that hurts. But hey, good for them to have that, chutzpah to like just jump off the cliff. I don't think I would have had the chutzpah to do that because I'm not a big water person and I'm not a strong swimmer. So jumping off a cliff definitely is not something that appeals to me. I think my husband would be more the person to do it. He's done it in other places and spaces. He didn't do it here, but I'm pretty sure that's kind of him. Okay, next door, day 4, we did a hike to Mount Srđ. There's the trailhead is outside of town, and there's a little parking area there as well that you can park your car at. A little bit difficult to find the trailhead. We climbed up from where we were staying, so it was all stairs, and more stairs. Now, just a few things about the hike. It's not a very long hike, but it's a very open hike, as in like you are exposed to sun. And if it is a sunny day, then it can get a little bit hot. Definitely carry your water, wear good shoes. It's all gravel going up. Now, you can certainly take the cable car. I think it's 15 euros up and 15 euros down, at least when we visited. But the views are over like that if you do the cable car. If you do the hike, you will get stunning views of the Adriatic Sea all the way up through the hike. And there are places that you want to stop, you want to make photos. Of course, when you get to the very top, it is like literally 360-degree view. Maybe not 360, but it is just this magnificently open view. And you can see all the islands spreading so far away. You can see all the boats. Like I said, you can take the cable car up and down, but the cable car ride is, I think, a few minutes. It's really, and once you kind of get a little bit low and you get to the city, you lose that view of the Adriatic Sea. So my recommendation, if you have time, definitely do the hike. It's not a very difficult hike. It's a short hike, but if you don't have a lot of time, then doing the cable car is great. Now you can do day trips from Dubrovnik as well. One of the ones they suggest is Kotor, Montenegro, Perast. They also suggest Mostar. If you do land up going to Mostar in Bosnia, it is a very, very, very long day. So just remember that. We didn't do Mostar because we were going to go to Mostar and spend a couple of nights there. We didn't want to do like just a day trip. Now, the Balkans were really not on my list of places to go to, but we had a friend who was serving in the Peace Corps in Albania, and he invited us. My husband is a professional photographer. Travel and wildlife are big components of his portfolio. And so he wanted to photograph the Balkans. Check out, by the way, his videos on the Balkans. And especially after the pandemic, he really needed to rebuild his business. So having this new sort of these new travel locations in his portfolio was a big deal, important deal. Check out his Antarctica pictures and videos. Those are some magnificent pictures. I am grooving and giving an early retirement. I left my corporate tax career 5.5 years ago, and I'm spending my time pursuing my passions. One of them was to step foot on the seventh continent. But my biggest passion, the reason I left, is my not-for-profit, A Childhood for Children, that I operate as a volunteer. It is now 14 years old, and I'm so grateful for that. On my channel, I talk about pursuing my passions, giving back, and financial freedom, without which you really can't have some of the other things. So watch my videos on other destinations and giving back. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Ding, ding, ding. You know the drill. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate your watching my channel. I am grooving and giving an early retirement. Boy, oh boy, just loving it. And I wish this kind of freedom on everyone. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.